Hey, and welcome to another episode of Motors and Meats. I am selling my 911 and I'm cooking some ribs. I'm hanging out on the back porch today, sitting here with the hickory smoke, waiting on it to come up to temp so I can put these ribs on. And yes, you heard right, I am selling my 911. Not because I don't love it, I do love it. I love it a lot. I've had so much fun with it. 65,000 miles that I've put on it myself in less than 4 years. The thing is a true driver's car, and I have just had the best time with it. Then why am I selling it? How many different 911 variants are there? Go ahead, spit out a number. I don't know either. In fact, I'll look it up. I'll find out how many different variants of 911s that there have been since 1963 or 4 or whenever you want to start counting, and I'll put that number right here. I've only tried one. That means there's a lot of different flavors out there. So what am I looking at? I've made a couple of videos referencing looking at other 911s. I did one that was, should I sell my 911 Carrera and get a turbo? Definitely a 996 turbo has been near or at the top of my list of what cars I would replace mine with. But that's not the only one. That's not the only thing I've thought about. I've also looked at doing a 991.1 Carrera S. Serious horsepower bump up from my 996. Very similar performance statistics to the 996 turbo, but you get all of the modern conveniences and everything with it. And as many miles as I put on a car, I kind of think that would be a more sensible choice to go with. Price point's about the same as well as a turbo 996. On my list of 911s that I one day want to have, the early cars, the long hoods, I would love to have an old 60s, early 70s long hood that is just totally ratted out but has a perfectly restored engine. But I don't think that now is the right time for me to have that, because right now I've got to be able to do some long distance miles on it, and even though that would be a super cool car to have, I don't think that that's the one that I want to get right now. Smoker's about up to temp. Let's go get the ribs and put them on. Ribs are on. Let's talk about the car a little more. Yeah. Aside from providing a nice cool resting place for the cats here for the last 3 years and 9 months, this thing has been my chariot, my escape, my way to cope with difficulties of life, my way to enjoy the world that we live in, and it will be missed sorely. To get it ready to sell, I've done a lot of things here just recently. The wheels have been needing to be powder coated for a long time, really, and I finally got around to having that done. I went back with Porsche Silver. Didn't want to do anything crazy since I was getting it ready to sell. The front wheels were in the worst shape. They look fantastic now, and the problem before was right in between where these pieces come in, the spokes run into the rim. You just could not get this clean at all. I'm sure I've got a picture that I'll pop in right here of what it looked like before, but now they're pristine and perfect. Also, I've got a big crack in the glass right here, and I've got a new windshield that the glass shop has already, and they are waiting on this trim piece right here to come in. And once that comes in, I'll run by this week and get that installed. If you guys remember, whenever I was dealing with the air oil separator, this has been a while back now in the channel, but the bellows, I didn't get that seated properly. And before one of my track days, the one at Barber Motorsports Park, I had to have a third party inspect the car. And they put it up on the lift and noticed there was a lot of oil buildup residue all on the side of the transmission. And that was where it was coming from. They actually let me go underneath there and fix it myself, which was kind. I thought I enjoyed getting to work under the car on a lift. You can actually see the air oil separator and reach it with your hands really easily if the car's up on a lift. And I just never had that opportunity before, so I was glad to have it. But I finally got around to cleaning up the oily residue underneath the car and made quite a bit of a mess on the concrete underneath here. As a result, I took 3 cans of brake cleaner and just blasted it for a while until it started to look better underneath there. It's still not perfect, and I really don't think anybody would expect it to be perfect after 170,000 miles, but I wanted it to be as presentable as possible with it going to market. Another thing that was long overdue, the floor mats. The one on this side where your heel rests had a hole worn in it, and you can't see it now because those are brand new floor mats. I threw out the old ones. I got some from Suncoast Parts, and so now both front floor mats are brand new and ready for the next 170,000 miles. I mentioned in a previous video about having some paintless dent removal and touch-up paint done. I know in one of the videos I said the front bumper wasn't worth doing touch-up on, but I decided to go ahead and have it done anyway, and it looks a lot better. But I also had a few small dents that you would only see if the light was hitting it just right, and it was making me crazy, so I went ahead and had the last couple ones of those taken care of. And now the car is completely dent-free, and the bumper looks great from even 5 feet away. Once you get up close to it, you can definitely see where the rock scars are on it. I'd lost one of these little rubber pieces down here, and I got a new one of those. And the other side was worn out, so I went ahead and got 2 of those that they'd match. Last new thing that I did for the car, put some brand new rear tires on the back. They're Kumho Exta PS91. They've got a tread wear rating of 260, so they're kind of sticky, a lot stickier than the 340 tread wear of the Continental Extreme Sports that I had on there to begin with. Back to the food for a moment. You can't eat just meat, although sometimes I do. But today we've got some baked beans going on the smoker as well. Just baked beans, ground sausage, a whole onion diced up in there, a bunch of barbecue seasoning, and some barbecue sauce. I don't want the lid to be on there because I want the beans to absorb some of that applewood smoke. So what does the channel look like with the 996 going away? Well, we still have the Cayenne, of course. I also have this Touareg over here that I picked up for parts. I'm going to strip it down. There'll definitely be a how-to video on how to take everything off of here that I'm going to need for the Cayenne, such as the axles, both front and rear, the differentials. This one, the reason I bought it, funny story, I thought it had a locking differential. It does not have a locking differential. It has the selector bezel from a car that does have a locking differential. So, oh well, silly me. I should have crawled underneath it before I gave the guy $1,000 for it. But it was cheap, so I'll at least get all the extra components that the Cayenne will inevitably break after I finish building it out and start doing some more serious off-roading. And I really don't think it's going to be long before I change out for another 911. In fact, I've got one more road trip planned, and depending on whether the car sells before this or not will determine which car I'm taking. So the trip is to Rensport Reunion in California. It's going to be a fun one, a long one, and it takes place in about a week. So if I haven't sold the car in 1 week from today that this video is launching, then I'm going to take the 911 with me to California, back where I bought it from, and that's going to be an epic road trip. If it does sell, Cayenne it is, and that's okay. But while we're out there, we'll get to see a ton of really great cars. So make sure that you're subscribed if you haven't already, because there's gonna be a lot of cool things to look at. Look up the Rensport Reunion. It's Rensport Reunion 7 that we're going to, and lots of cool things that we're gonna see there, including Checked It Out Monterey. We're going to that while we're there. Guys, let me know in the comments if you think I'm making a big mistake, if I'm doing the right thing, if you think 996 values are about to quadruple and I'm throwing all my money away, or if they're never going to go up in value, they're just gonna stay about like they are and continue to be one of the most amazing driver's cars that there are. And also let me know what you think I should replace it with. Should it be a 996 Turbo, 991.1S, something entirely different? Because I am going to sell it. In fact, if I get back from the California trip and I still haven't sold the car, then it's going on P-Car Market at no reserve. So it will sell one way or the other. I appreciate you guys watching. We'll skip ahead right here so you can see the ribs from the future and the beans, and I'm sure they came out great. They always seem to on that Bronco drum smoker. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.